Hey everyone, I am super excited to be here today. My name is Cheryl Hajjar. I'm a cleaning industry coach and the founder of Sisters Who Scale. And today we're going to be talking about the most difficult piece of the whole Maid service industry, and that is retaining staff. So I thought that I would start out with a little bit about me. So I founded my own cleaning company, Maid, Brite Cleaning. We service both residential, commercial, and now power washing clients. I'm from Boston, Mass. You may hear the accent as I talk today. And I built my company, Maid, Brite Cleaning, from nothing. I made every mistake in the book. I turned those fuels into failures for massive success. And it was always my goal to run a successful cleaning business, right? And then teach others how to do it faster, skip the pitfalls that I experienced when I was growing it. That's why I founded my coaching and consulting company, Sisters Who Scale. And I help cleaning business owners fast track, skip the painful lessons that I went through and fast track straight to success. So here's the thing. I've seen talented business owners hit invisible walls, wondering why their companies are plateauing while others absolutely explode into seven-figure empires. And today, I am blowing the lid off the industry's best-kept secret, mastering staff retention and engineering a company culture that attracts and keeps top talent. So mastering this piece is what brings in the profits, and it's one of the most difficult pieces in how to grow a cleaning company, and one which most owners struggle with. So this isn't going to be fluffy HR talk. This is a powerful strategy that can transform your business if you're willing to learn the strategies, being in a constant struggle into a profit-generating machine that practically runs itself. So I'm going to use my story because I feel it's very relatable. And then you can kind of learn, a little bit about me. So here was my progression so you all can relate. I started my company when I was, of course, cleaning. I don't clean anymore. I started solo with a few clients. Then I grew a little bit. So I hired a couple of under the table helpers, right? Friends, family, not real employees. And I used to meet them in the parking lot of a grocery store. That's how I first got started. I would bring all my own supplies. We would work in teams of 3 and we'd bang out like 4 or 5, 6 houses a day, whatever it was. So to me, I was the boss, but to them, I was one of them. Two very different dynamics. So why did they feel like I was on their level? Because I was cleaning with them. I was interacting as one of them. But this is how we all start for the most part. Nothing you can really do unless you've bought a company with employees already in place. That's how a lot of people start out. So from the grocery store parking lot, I decided to graduate to my garage, right? And I had my garage as my house or office. Great idea in theory because it didn't cost me anything except my personal space. So for a short period of time, I ran my cleaning company out of my garage. I had nice shelving. It was very organized. I was excited, but I had staff showing up every day to my house, coming into my house, using the bathroom, seeing where I lived, and parking in my neighborhood. Not really the best situation if you're trying to create owner and employee boundaries, which is crucial. I can't stress that enough, to creating a successful cleaning business and a company culture. So after the garage had lost its luster, I was sick of my employees invading my personal space. I got a real office, okay? It was a shared office space, but it had a closet so I could store my supplies. It wasn't the greatest setup, but it was, it wasn't our own office. We were sort of sharing space, but it was better than the garage. So it was an upgrade. Eventually, we finally graduated, got our own office, which now has a washer and dryer, a kitchen, a bathroom, not shared in the hallway or anything like that. Here we are closing in on 7 figures, after 6 years of scaling this thing, 5.5, 6 years of scaling this thing, a staff of over 15. I have multiple staff that have been with me 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, going on 7 years. And that's unheard of in the cleaning industry. And I have to tell you that I'm damn proud of it. And I'm going to tell you how I did it. So was it easy? No, it wasn't easy, but I'm going to tell you how I did it. So most of you are going to have the same progression. Okay. When you have an actual office is when you're going to see the most change in your company. Why? because at that point you look like a real business, not a side hustle. And I say this because I went through it. I saw the evolution of my own business transcend into a place where, yes, we still have turnover, but it's far and few between. Before, I had turnover all the time. But as I grew, I bit the bullet. I spent the money on the office, right? Because I know that's a sticking point with some of you. My staff retention improved. And every cleaning business goes through these same stages for the most part. There is nothing you can do about it except speed up the growing pains and speed up the process. Okay. So let's talk about some little cleaning industry statistics, some harsh statistics. Let's get these over with. Your average residential cleaner stays just 4 to 6 months. Ouch, but true. Each cleaner you lose can cost in between 50 and 75% of their annual salary to replace. That's even a bigger ouch. The cleaning industry has a 200 annual turnover rate. That means that you're going to replace your entire staff twice every year, unless you master staff retention and company culture, which is what we are going to talk about today. So, why do cleaners leave a company? I'm going to talk about the top 5 exit triggers. Number 1, inconsistent scheduling. Most cleaning staff crave predictability because they're often juggling multiple jobs or family responsibilities. When you change their schedule last minute or give them different hours each week, you're creating financial stress, making it impossible for them to plan their lives, okay? They're rarely going to complain about it to you because they fear losing hours. But inconsistent scheduling is the silent killer that drives them to work for another company who offers instability, right? Number 2, lack of recognition or appreciation. In today's workforce, every cleaner wants to feel valued, beyond getting a paycheck. So when cleaners consistently feel that they're not being valued and you don't tell them that thank you for going above and beyond, they start feeling invisible and replaceable, right? So it's about valuing cleaners, not just workers. So when they're treated as disposable labor rather than human beings, they emotionally disconnect from your business. So appreciation shows in how you speak to them, remembering personal details, and offering flexibility during their challenges. Number 3, poor communication. When cleaners are left in the dark about company changes, direct feedback, or even basic information about their routes or a complaint, they feel disconnected and they feel unimportant. So poor communication can create things like anxiety, rumors, and feeling that the management doesn't trust them or respect them enough to keep them informed. And so this communication void makes them feel like outsiders rather than valued team members. Number 4, no growth path. Many cleaning staff are ambitious, to grow. They want growth opportunities from you to become team leaders, trainers, quality inspectors, and then even move into office roles as your company grows. They will view your company as a temporary stop rather than a career. And so when people can't envision a future with you, they start looking elsewhere for growth opportunities and just use your job, sort of as a stepping stone. Number 5, this is probably one of the worst ones, is toxic teams, right? One bad apple who constantly complains, gossips, or creates drama can poison your entire team's morale faster than you realize. Good employees will quit rather than deal with toxic coworkers. And the negativity, as you know, it spreads like wildfire through the group chats and the car rides. And many owners underestimate how quickly one bad attitude can destroy the positive culture that they've worked so hard to build. And it's pretty easy to see this, right? So what do you have to do? You have to seek it out and destroy it as soon as possible. All right, let's talk about why cleaners stay with a company, right? Why do cleaners stay with a company? Okay, it's pretty simple. There's really only 3 reasons, okay? They like their bosses, they like their teammates, and they like to clean. So your cleaners will stay if they like their leaders. So when cleaners feel respected, supported, and appreciated by their supervisors, they're more likely to stay. A good boss creates a positive work environment, communicates very clearly. This is so important. I can't stress this enough. And recognizes the hard work they put in. Cleaners will stay if they like who they work with, right? If they like their coworkers, the teamwork and camaraderie, it totally matters in this business. If cleaners enjoy working with their teammates, they feel a sense of connection and trust. It makes the job more enjoyable. It creates a strong reason to stay. People will stay much longer in a company because they like their coworkers, right? And obviously, last, they like to clean, right? They like the scope of work. Many cleaners find satisfaction in the work itself. So turning messy spaces into clean ones brings a sense of accomplishment and pride to some people. So if they genuinely enjoy the task they're doing, they're more likely to stay committed. So a lot of times when people quit a job, it isn't because they need more money, right? This isn't a $100,000 position. We all know that. People don't apply for jobs only to plan on quitting 3 or 4 months later, right? So that's not their intention. Something is causing them to quit. And it's your job as a leader to find out why they are quitting specifically, right? And a lot of owners think if they throw a bunch of money at them and pay them, $25 an hour, pay them like over what their state, minimum wage requirements and livable wages are. What happens if you pay them too much, they get entitled. It actually backfires on you, right? So you create these little entitled monsters running around in your company. And this is no fun because there's a pay ceiling in this industry. You can only pay them so much before it's eating into your profits. And I bet some of you have felt this before or are feeling this now. That's why you're here, right? So that's why you have to fix this, okay? So I want to talk about, before I get into the company culture, I want to talk about why having systems is so important in your business, right? I feel that it's really, really important to talk about that before we hit the company culture. So having systems is not only great for company culture that retains staff, but it's also very important to have smooth flowing systems that make your people stay. So I'm going to talk about that for a second before diving into company culture, because this is so important and it's so overlooked, especially with newer owners. Okay, so here are some tips you can implement right now in your business. Number one, we all know what it is, right? It's smooth scheduling. Okay, smooth scheduling is a dream come true for a cleaning business. Now, you and I know that that's almost impossible to have smooth sailing all the time, right? Staff get sick, their kids get sick, clients get sick, the clients' kids get sick, and they cancel last minute. And it can be difficult to enforce a same-day call-out if a client cancels last minute for COVID, right? Because you don't want to send your staff in there. But you have to gently remind your clients not to cancel last minute, and it's going to be tricky when sickness is involved. You have to do the best you can. Okay, so how do you do this to minimize this as much as possible? You do the schedule as far ahead as possible. Aim for 2 weeks ahead of time, right? 2 weeks ahead of time. 2, send out multiple client reminders so they don't forget their appointments. So you have less cancellations because they're saying, oh, I didn't know I had an appointment, right? My company sends out a 7-day, a 3-day, and we make sure if they don't confirm their appointment, we check in with them to make sure. So we minimize all that stuff. Then we send an on my way text when we're coming, right? Another thing you can do, which is overlooked sometimes, is have cancellation policies in place for clients so they don't cancel last minute. So there is a ramification for canceling. Give them ample time to prepare for your arrival, right? That is the best practice. And then next, send out multiple staff reminders to let them know they're working, right? You don't want to get that, oh, we didn't know I was working today. You want to have that so crystal clear with them that they can see the schedule ahead of time and send them out a reminder. Send them out an email. Let them know that they are working. I cannot stress this stuff enough, right? You have to have structure in place for both clients and your staff, but also yourself. No one should be winging this process. And if you can't, if you wing this plan, you're not going to build a cleaning empire. That's just simply stated. If you wing this, it's not going to happen for you, right? It's not going to happen. So you have to be strategic. The staff wants regular hours, and so do you, so you can keep the profits coming in. This whole thing is like a puzzle, right? Placing clients to connect to open spots, attaching staff to them, but it's just what you do as an owner until you can pass it off to someone else, right? But you need to learn how to do it first before you pass it off to someone else. So take advantage of Maid's great map optimization and the tools they offer, because they're absolutely phenomenal and will keep you very, very organized. Okay. One of my favorite words in the industry is great communication. Communication is key. You cannot communicate enough to your staff. Let's talk about what we are communicating. Okay. What are we communicating? The expectations of the job, for one, right? The hours, the days available, the uniforms, the technology, how to use the app for notes, how to clock in, how to clock out, what time to get to the office, the job specifications, all that stuff. You want to be crystal clear on that. Number two, the quality expected. Make sure when you're training that you have all of your SOPs, like your training manuals done, your videos, every tool you're using, make sure they understand everything. My company uses a detailed printed manual in the beginning, and I throw my people right out into the weeds with one of, my trainers or my multiple trainers. So I don't do videos. I want to get right to production. So, they see who they're working with. I think that is best for learning. That's, what we do in my company. And then what I do is I move a new trainee to, all 7 of my trainers to see who they work best with, get different opinions. Don't just trust one trainer, get a whole bunch of opinions. Some people mesh with different people, and you'll learn that. So don't just take one person's opinions about that. Okay. And then the progress while they're in training. So it's crucial that while they're in training, you're focused on their progress, but also communicating with how they are doing, right? You should be in touch with your trainers that they're working with that day, right? See how they're doing, and check in with your new trainees, see how they're liking it, if it's what they expected, if they have any questions and things like that. So here's something to consider, and you guys might laugh at this, but this is like totally true. So the first 30 days of someone's employment is like dating. Everything is great the first few dates. You're getting to know a new person and it's fun, it's exciting, but anything could happen in those first 30 days. You could wake up one morning and think that everything is great, only to have them quit, and you're completely blindsided out of nowhere, right? Just like dating. So you have to mentally be prepared for that. Expect that anything could happen in the first 30 days, right? In the first 30 days. So my story is I would hire a ton of people in the beginning of my company and I'd lose most of them. Now I keep most of them, right? But that took time and effort and patience on my end. And honestly, my willingness to never give up. I was determined to crack the hiring code because I knew it was the road to scaling and making profits. So I don't want anyone to get discouraged. Don't put too much faith in people in the beginning, right? Once you make it past the first 30 days, you're usually in the clear for a bit. Then you can relax. Then you have to put on your superhero company culture where you need to shine to keep them long term, which is what I'm going to talk about next. Okay. So that's the communication. So I'm going to break this down into a few different categories. So I have a 4-step company culture program. We're going to start with daily, then we're going to talk about weekly, monthly, and yearly. Appreciation text. Catch them doing right text, right? Catch them doing right. So send appreciation text when you see great work. This is easy. It should be at the top of your mind every single day, almost like you're looking for it. So example, Stephanie, she's in my, one of my top cleaners. Stephanie, I saw how you handled that difficult client's request about cleaning her dishes in the sink. You're amazing. That's it. Takes 30 seconds, but it creates long lasting impact. Create a peer high five program. So get them involved with their own cheering. Encourage your team members to recognize each other daily. Get them to do this. This is going to create a cool little atmosphere, right? So one example, create a group chat for shout outs, celebrations. You can use Slack. You can, use Slack. It's free. So everyone can see the recognition. But so what can happen here is one of your teams sees another team member getting recognition. They naturally want recognition themselves. So they will strive for that, right? And everyone benefits from that. It makes everyone feel so good, right? When everyone's like feeling like they're doing a good job, makes everyone feel so good, which is super important. And it bonds them together as one unit. Cleaning is hard work, right? We all know this. So building, and you got this mentality is what you want to strive for. And 3, essential role reminders. Tell each team member how vital they are to the company's success. So an example, without your attention to detail on that, Sam, we wouldn't have knocked out that deep clean out of the ballpark. We really appreciate your hard work today, right? That's going to make them feel valued, not replaceable. So those are the daily. Let's talk about the weekly team tech celebrations. Like I said, send out a weekly group message highlighting wins and their progress, right? An example, this week our team cleaned 47 homes perfectly with no complaints. You have an amazing weekend. You can make up a bunch of these. These are like super easy. These are going to be like really personal. Don't chat GPT this stuff, right? Be human with it. All right. That's another topic for another day. Be yourself with that. Don't come up with anything that's not yours. From the heart, it's going to be way better. Social media spotlights. I do these all the time because you want to feature different team members on your business social accounts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you're using. Example, meet Sarah, our detail queen who makes every home sparkle. This builds pride. It shows you value them publicly and they feel wanted and needed and a vital part of your company. Milestones and birthdays, right? We do this all the time. Acknowledge work anniversaries, acknowledge personal celebration, having babies. 3 of my staff have worked while pregnant up to their due date, and they all came back after having kids. Like, that's crazy. I'm so blessed to have that, but I've worked really hard. So they want to come back, right? You can do personalized gifts on these things, cake, public recognition for the ladies that were having babies. We did like diaper trees and stuff like that. They love that. That's super helpful to them because they didn't, one of my staff didn't have to buy diapers for like 6 months. We just bought them like a whole bunch of diapers. So that's the weekly. So what can you do monthly? Team appreciation lunches. These are a big hit with my company. Everyone looks forward to them, right? I think that bringing everyone together outside of work makes for massive connections. Do a pizza party at the office, or we do sometimes where we give them a menu of like a sub place. They order their own food, like calzones, steak chip salads, subs, whatever. We decide Chinese, right? I honestly think that nothing brings people together more than having a meal together. I think it's a bonding experience, right? Financial appreciation. Everyone loves money, right? We reward consistent performers with unexpected cash bonuses, or up here, we're like big Dunkin' Donuts freaks in the North. So I give like $15, $20 gift cards to Dunkin's for the people that drink coffee. Or, we'll do like a perfect attendance bonus at the end of the year, $100. Give that to them at the Christmas party or something like that, right? Compliment them. Let their peers know that they're winning these things, right? That's like cool. We also do another thing. If we get a Google review and they mention one of the cleaners like Sam or Amanda in the review, we'll put an extra $10 in their check, tax-free. So it's in a Venmo, right? Nothing says thank you like putting a little bit of money in their pocket. Another thing they do, which they really like, especially on birthdays, is the staff, the one who has the birthday or staff of the month, which we do, they pick the breakfast that everyone's going to have. So bagels, donuts, breakfast sandwiches, things like that, whatever they want, we let them pick them. So everything that we do, we're getting them involved, right? And that, that's why that's where they're going to stay, right? This job is hard. Cleaning is hard work, and that's why they're going to stay. Moving on to yearly recognition. Let's talk about yearly. Anniversary celebrations, again, create a special recognition for work anniversaries with increasing rewards. We give this out at our Christmas party. For example, someone that's been with us for a year, we give them $100. We give them cash. Year 2, 200. Year 3, 300. We've also been known to give away a one-night stay at a hotel or casino. Love that. That stuff you have to do if you want to retain your people. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts or gray area. You have to do that, right? You have to be willing to do that. Otherwise, you're going to keep having a revolving staff of people. I'm going to tell you, doing stuff like this is much cheaper than training a new person. It gives them something to work towards, okay? Make sure that they know what's in the program ahead of time. Another thing you can do is company outing adventures, make an annual building team event, right? Amusement parks, bowling tournament. We do a beach barbecue. Mine's coming up in a couple of weeks here up at the beach the beach house we rent in the summer. We do it right on the beach. We have a cornhole tournament. Like, they love it. Like, they look forward to the cornhole tournament. There was like this, we give them like this, like really like cheesy wrestling Rocky Balboa belt that they win. And it says Maid, Brite on it. Like, they love it. They talk about it all year. It's a big party. We cook for them, right? We have the grill. My husband's like cooking all the hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken, steak, whatever. No hold barred on this. And they love it. And it's for them, and we appreciate all the hard work they do. It's the least we can do. They're out cleaning all my accounts, right? It's the least that I can do. Another thing we do that I kind of get into is celebrating the holiday traditions in the office. So we transform our office into a festive headquarters, right? With decorations, with treats, stuff like that. Halloween we decorate the whole office. I'm a huge Halloween person. Christmas, we decorate. We do a tree. We do a Christmas gift exchange, which is called a Yankee swap because I'm from the North. So that's what they call it. We do Valentine's. I have candy. I have all the decorations up. Our colors are pink and blue. So we have an obnoxious pink Christmas tree, and I decorate it with all Maid Brite stuff on it or whatever. And then since it's pink, I keep it up for Valentine's Day, and I decorate it with all heart, decorations and stuff. And they like it. It's festive. It's cool, right? And they totally, totally like it. So those are all the things that I do daily through the yearly. I also want to talk to you a little bit about some bonus culture builders, which is having a physical office space, right? So having a real office is the caveat to this whole thing, this company culture thing we talk about. If you want to fast track your company, get an office, right? Snacks, comfortable seating, coffee in the morning, things like that. These things work. My girls come in the morning and make burritos for breakfast and eat the burritos before they go out for the day, right? So why is having an office a game changer? It shows you're a real company, not a side hustle. And I'm speaking from experience. I have come from meeting in the grocery store parking lot to advancing all the way up, to having an office. So I know firsthand what this is like. So having an office allows you to develop a professional environment. A dedicated office space can create a more professional atmosphere that employees may find more credible and stable compared to the home-based operations, right? Team interaction. It allows your team to interact in the morning, right? You can have training sessions there. You can have face-to-face management meetings, right? I do a meeting every single morning with them. I go over all their routes for the whole day so they are prepared and set up for success. But an office also allows you to create a work-life boundary for yourself, right? Having a separate office space helps establish professional boundaries between you and them. A lot of cleaning business owners struggle when they're in the field with them and cleaning because it's a blurred line, right? You have to separate management, which is you, from your cleaners, right? You have to establish these professional boundaries. Storage and organization. Offices typically provide better storage for equipment and supplies, right? Making your work more organized, more efficient. It feels like a real company. It's growing, all those things. Another thing we do is we have a suggestion box. It's an anonymous suggestion box, okay? And we allow them to write on a piece of paper a suggestion, a complaint, a concern, right? We want to know how they're feeling, because doing something like this, it'll build trust and it'll show that you value their input. You don't want to be the one barking orders all the time. You want a certain amount of input from them so they feel like they're a vital part of your company. So you have to remember that people don't just want jobs. They want to contribute to something meaningful that's going to gain momentum and actually make a difference. So these recognition systems cost pennies compared to constantly recruiting and training new staff. So I suggest start with one daily and one weekly action today. Your retention rates will thank you, right? Your retention rates will thank you. So I hope you found this helpful, because it's the most crucial part of your company, along with learning how to price and learning how to sell. This one's like number one, right? This one's like number one. So if you are having a hiring issue that you think might be a little bit more intricate than just throwing a few of these actionable steps into your business, I'm happy to have a chat with you to see if what I do could be a good fit. I have a group program called the Drop the Mop and Scale Accelerator. It's getting ready to open its doors for open registration. I run these a few times a year. Now is one of them. I only take about 7 to 8 owners at a time because I like this setting to be intimate for everyone, so I can give everyone my undivided attention. Plus the owners all bond, and it becomes like a really great support system for each other, which is so cool to see happen. Past owners have fixed their hiring problems. They've stopped cleaning. They've fixed their pricing issues. They've learned how to sell, overcome objections, and develop CEO leadership techniques that strengthen them as leaders, which is very important for hiring, and a ton more. Basically, owners stop winging the whole process of their business when they work with me, and they get big transformations. So you can work with me in a couple of ways: in a small, intimate group setting in my Drop Them Up program. I also work with people privately that if, people like or prefer a one-on-one setting. People always ask me, okay, what do you get when you work with Maid? We get no BS. I don't sugarcoat. We get to the root of the issues and then work towards solutions that make an impact in your business. I'm a very results-driven coach, and I push owners beyond what they think can be possible. We do weekly Zooms, we roll up our sleeves, and we work and we get stuff done. We fix stuff that's happening in your business. I also have a free group on Facebook called Sisters Who Scale, where I go live each week on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a different topic on the cleaning industry. A lot of owners have found these helpful. You can also learn more about me on my website as well. So here's how you get in touch with me. So a few ways. So you can find me on Facebook. The Facebook group is at Sisters Who Scale. On my website, which is sisterswhoscale.com. And you can also email me as well at the email above. It has been an absolute pleasure, as usual. Thank you, Zen Maid, for allowing me to spend my time with all of you today and get support to all of you that need it. Because I know when it comes to hiring, I know that everybody needs that support, right? So please let me know if these tips were helpful. I love the feedback. You can reach out to me personally on Facebook or my email as well. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the summit.